The world will test you. People will provoke you. Plans will fall apart. But your reaction, that's where the real battle lies. If you want peace, you must build power within, not by controlling the world, but by controlling your response to it. The unshakable don't fear chaos. They walk through it unchanged. In this message, I'll teach you to become that person, steady, clear, indifferent to noise, immune to nonsense. Subscribe to our channel if you're ready to master your mind, and tell us, where are you watching from? Look around you. What do you see? A world in perpetual motion, markets rising and falling, nations clashing, people rushing about, consumed by their daily struggles. Chaos, eternal, inevitable chaos. This is the nature of our world, and it will never change. But you must be different. I have commanded armies, ruled an empire, and faced betrayal from those closest to me. Through it all, I discovered one immutable truth. The world's chaos is constant, but your response to it need not be. This is where true power begins. Think of a lighthouse in a storm. The waves crash, the winds howl, lightning splits the sky. Yet the lighthouse remains, unmoved, unwavering, serving its purpose regardless of nature's fury. This is what you must become, not by building higher walls or stronger defenses, but by cultivating an inner stillness that no external force can disturb. Many seek to control their environment, their circumstances, their fate. This is folly. The wise understand that the only domain of true control lies within. Your thoughts, your reactions, your judgments, these are yours to command. Everything. Else, let it be what it will be. I see you nodding, but pause. Really consider this truth. Right now, in this moment, something, somewhere is going wrong. A plan is failing, a relationship is ending, a fortune is being lost. And tomorrow, more of the same. This is not pessimism, it is reality. The question is not whether chaos will come, but how you will meet it when it arrives. The untrained mind is like a leaf in the wind, blown about by every gust of circumstance. One moment elated, the next despairing. One moment confident, the next crippled by doubt. Is this any way to live? Is this any way to lead, to create, to achieve anything of lasting value? No. The path to unshakable strength begins with this recognition. External chaos is not your enemy. Your real opponent is your own untamed mind. Your reflexive reactions, your habitual responses, your unconscious surrenders to emotion. Here is your first lesson in becoming unshakable. Start paying attention to how quickly you respond to disturbance. When someone criticizes you, do you instantly tense? When plans collapse, does your mind immediately race to worst-case scenarios? When challenges arise, do you instinctively seek escape? These instant reactions, this is where you lose your power. This is where chaos defeats you before you've even begun to fight. The solution is not to suppress these responses, but to create space around them, to observe them without becoming them. Think of it this way. You are not the storm of thoughts and emotions that passes through you. You are the sky that contains them. The sky is never damaged by any weather that moves across. It remains vast, clear, and untroubled. This is your true nature, if you would only remember it. But remembering is not enough. You must practice this truth daily, hourly, in every moment. When pressure mounts, remember, you are the sky, not the storm. When others panic, remember, you are the lighthouse, not the waves. When the world shakes, remember, your strength comes. Not from controlling external events, but from maintaining your center, regardless of them. This is not passive acceptance. This is not weakness disguised as wisdom. This is the foundation of all true power. For only the person who cannot be shaken by external chaos can think clearly, act decisively, and maintain the long view that leadership requires. In the coming chapters, I will teach you the specific practices that develop this power. But for now, carry this truth with you. Chaos is not your enemy. Reactivity is. The world will do what it will do. Your task is not to control it, but to build such inner strength that nothing external can disturb your core of calm. Remember, the most powerful person in any room is not the one who can create chaos, it's the one who remains steady within it. Begin your journey to unshakability by accepting this paradox. True strength comes not from resisting the storm, but from finding the calm at its center. Let us speak plainly about the greatest threat to your power: reaction. Not action, reaction. The difference between these two states is the difference between mastery and slavery, between leadership and chaos. What do I mean by reaction? Watch yourself closely throughout a single day. Someone speaks harshly to you. Your body tenses, your voice rises, your mind floods with defensive thoughts. Traffic delays you, your jaw clenches, your thoughts spiral into frustration, your peace evaporates. A plan fails, your stomach knots, your confidence wavers, your focus scatters. These reactions, they feel justified, don't they? After all, isn't anger the proper response to disrespect? Isn't frustration natural when faced with obstacles? Isn't anxiety appropriate when plans collapse? This is what most people believe. And this is precisely why most people remain weak, remain slaves to circumstance, remain perpetually at the mercy of a world they cannot control. Listen carefully. Every reaction is a surrender of power. Every automatic response is a confession of weakness. Every time you let external events dictate your internal state, you hand over the keys to your kingdom. But Marcus, you protest, surely some reactions are justified. Surely there are times when anger is appropriate, when frustration is warranted. No, I say this not from some lofty philosophical perch, but as a man who commanded armies, who dealt with betrayal, who faced the constant pressures of imperial rule. I say this as someone who has tested this truth in the crucible of real power, real responsibility, real consequences. Anger is never justified. It is merely convenient. Frustration is never warranted. It is merely habitual. Anxiety is never appropriate. It is merely familiar. These reactions feel natural only because you have practiced them thousands of times. Think of it this way. Every time you react, you confess that something external has power over your internal state. Every automatic response is an admission that you can be manipulated, controlled, thrown off balance by forces outside yourself. Is this the foundation upon which you wish to build your life, your leadership, your legacy? Consider this. The truly powerful person is not the one who can make others react. It is the one who cannot be made to react. Think of the implications of this truth. When you cease to react automatically, you become impossible to manipulate. When you break the chain between external events and internal response, you become truly free. But how? The path begins with awareness. Start noticing the gap or lack thereof between event and response. When something happens, can you catch yourself before the automatic reaction takes hold? Can you create even a fraction of a second space between stimulus and response? This is your training ground. Every provocation, every obstacle, every disappointment is not an attack to be defended against, but an opportunity to practice non-reaction. Every person who angers you is not an enemy, but a teacher, offering you a chance to strengthen your command over yourself. The next time someone insults you, try this. Instead of defending, attacking, or seething with suppressed rage, simply observe. Watch the impulse to react arise within you. Feel the familiar tension, the surge of emotion, the automatic thoughts. But don't follow them, don't express them, don't suppress them either. Just watch. This is not passive acceptance. This is not rolling over and playing dead. This is the cultivation of true power. Because in that space of observation, in that moment of non-reaction, you maintain something precious. Choice. The reactive person has no choice. They are a puppet, dancing to strings pulled by every external circumstance. But the non-reactive person maintains their power of choice. They can choose to respond or not. They can choose the timing of their response, the nature of their response, the purpose of their response. This is the foundation of strategic thinking, of effective leadership, of lasting impact. Because only the person who can resist automatic reaction can see clearly enough to choose wisely. Your task, then, is clear. Begin catching your reactions. Notice your automatic responses. Create space, even a moment's space, between stimulus and response. In that space lies your power, your freedom, your path to becoming truly unshakable. Remember, the world will never stop trying to provoke you. People will never cease attempting to disturb your peace. Plans will never stop going awry. Your power lies not in preventing these things, but in transcending your reactivity to them. Your mind is a fortress, but a fortress is only as strong as its guards. And who guards your mental gates? Who stands watch over your thoughts, your reactions, your impulses? If you're like most people, the answer is no one. This is why you remain vulnerable to every passing disturbance. This is why external events still hold power over your internal state. This is why you cannot yet call yourself truly unshakable. Today we train the guards of your mental fortress, not through complex philosophy or abstract theory, but through practical daily disciplines that will transform your mind from an open courtyard that any thought can wander through into an impregnable stronghold of clarity and purpose. First principle: awareness must precede control. You cannot guard what you cannot see. Begin your training by developing the habit of mental scanning. Throughout your day, stop randomly and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling? What triggered these thoughts and feelings? Do not judge what you discover. Simply observe. You'll be amazed and perhaps disturbed by how many unconscious thoughts and reactions flow through your mind without your awareness or permission. Second principle: establish checkpoints. Just as a fortress has specific points where everyone must stop and be examined, your mind needs regular moments of examination. Here's your new discipline. At least 5 times each day, stop whatever you're doing and perform a mental checkpoint. At each checkpoint, ask yourself, is my mind clear or clouded? Am I in control of my thoughts, or are they controlling me? Am I choosing my responses, or am I reacting automatically? What unnecessary thoughts am I carrying? What emotions have I allowed to slip past the guards? Make these checkpoints non-negotiable. Treat them with the same seriousness a military commander treats their security protocols, because that's what you are now, the commander of your mental fortress. Third principle: train for pressure. A guard who has never faced real threats is useless when danger arrives. Your mental guards must be tested, challenged, strengthened through deliberate exposure to difficulty. Here is your daily training regimen. Begin each morning with cold exposure, a cold shower, a walk in cold weather, any controlled discomfort. As the cold hits you, watch your mind's immediate reaction. Notice the impulse to escape, to tense up, to resist. Practice maintaining clarity and calm, despite physical discomfort. Throughout your day, intentionally delay gratification. When you want to check your phone, wait 5 minutes. When you want to speak, hold your tongue for a count of 10. When you want to react to an email immediately, force yourself to wait an hour. These are not arbitrary exercises in self-denial. They are specific training protocols for your mental guards. Each time you successfully delay an impulse, you strengthen your ability to choose rather than react. Fourth principle: guard your inputs. A fortress with strong walls but open sewers is still vulnerable. What information, what images, what conversations are you allowing into your mental space without inspection? Establish strict protocols for mental inputs. No mindless consumption of news or social media, no unnecessary exposure to negative or chaotic energy, no tolerance for time-wasting conversations, no consumption of information that doesn't serve your purpose. This isn't about becoming an isolationist, it's about being selective. Everything that enters your mental space should be consciously chosen, not passively accepted. Fifth principle: regular guard rotation. Just as physical guards need rest, your mental guards need renewal. Build these practices into your daily routine. Periods of complete silence, time in nature, physical exercise, meditation, or contemplative practice. Deep, uninterrupted sleep. These are not luxuries. They are essential maintenance for your mental guards. Without them, your defenses will weaken, and your fortress will become vulnerable. Final principle: test your defenses. Regularly expose yourself to challenging situations that would normally disturb your peace. Enter difficult conversations, face uncomfortable truths. Put yourself in positions where maintaining mental clarity requires real effort. But here's the crucial point. Do this consciously, strategically, with your guards fully alert and engaged. This is how you discover weaknesses in your mental defenses, before real threats expose them for you. Remember, a fortress is not built in a day, and neither is an unshakable mind. These practices must become as natural as breathing, as automatic as blinking. Your mental guards must be trained until they operate with perfect efficiency, perfect vigilance, perfect clarity. The world will never stop testing your defenses. But with properly trained guards, your mental fortress can remain inviolate, regardless of external chaos. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those serious about achieving true mental sovereignty. Listen carefully to this truth. What you tolerate, you teach. Every time you allow your peace to be disturbed by trivial matters, you teach the world how to disturb you. Every time you react to petty provocations, you teach others how to manipulate you. Every time you surrender your calm to external chaos, you teach life itself that you are not yet ready for true power. This is a harsh truth, isn't it? It suggests that the daily disturbances you face, the disrespect, the interruptions, the provocations, are not simply happening to you. You are, in some way, inviting them, training them, encouraging them. But Marcus, you protest, surely I don't choose to be disturbed? Surely I'm not asking for these provocations? Perhaps not consciously, but through your patterns of response, through your habits of reaction, through your tolerance of what should be intolerable, you are sending clear signals to the world about how you may be moved, shaken, disturbed. Think of it this way. Imagine a young emperor who reacts strongly every time someone questions his judgment. What does this teach his advisors? It teaches them that questioning his judgment is an effective way to get a reaction, to gain power over his emotional state, to influence his decisions through his reactivity. Now imagine a different emperor, one who meets questioning with calm consideration, who responds to criticism with steady reflection, who maintains his center regardless of external pressure. What does this teach his advisors? It teaches them that manipulation through provocation is useless, that power plays through emotional leverage will fail. Which emperor would you rather be? This principle extends far beyond matters of leadership. It applies to every relationship, every interaction, every aspect of your life where you interface with the world. When you tolerate interruptions during your focused work, you teach people that your time is not truly valuable. When you accept disrespect in professional relationships, you teach others that disrespecting you carries no consequence. When you allow small violations of your peace to pass unchallenged, you teach the world that your tranquility is cheap. But here is where most people misunderstand this principle. They think the solution is to become rigid, defensive, aggressive in protecting their boundaries. They believe they must fight fire with fire, meet disturbance with disturbance, answer provocation with provocation. This is foolishness. It is merely trading one form of weakness for another. The true solution lies in something far more powerful: calm, unwavering adherence to your standards, not through confrontation, but through consistent demonstration of what you will and will not tolerate. Here is how you begin. First, establish clear internal standards. What level of disorder will you accept in your mental space? What degree of disturbance will you allow to affect your peace? What quality of interaction will you permit in your relationships? Be specific. Be exact. Write these standards down if you must. but be clear with yourself about where the lines are drawn. Second, observe how often you currently violate these standards, not how often others violate them, how often you violate them through your own tolerance, your own acquiescence, your own unwillingness to maintain them. This self-examination will be uncomfortable. You will discover many instances where you have been complicit in your own disturbance. Accept this. Learn from it. Third, begin enforcing your standards through presence, not resistance. When someone attempts to disturb your peace, don't fight them. Simply maintain your center. When someone tries to provoke you, don't counterattack. Simply remain unmoved. This is not passive acceptance. This is active demonstration of your standards. You are showing, not telling. Teaching through example, not argument. Fourth, be willing to accept the temporary discomfort that comes with raising your standards. Some people will resist the new boundaries. Some relationships may need to change. Some situations may need to be left behind. This is the price of growth. Pay it willingly. Remember, every moment of every day, you are teaching the world how to treat you. Every reaction, every response, every moment of tolerance or intolerance is a lesson you provide to life itself about what you will accept, what you will allow, what you will permit to affect your peace. If you find yourself constantly disturbed by the same types of situations, constantly reactive to the same kinds of provocations, constantly shaken by the same categories of chaos, ask yourself, what am I teaching? What am I tolerating? What am I inviting through my patterns of response? The world is an efficient teacher. It will continuously present you with the lessons you have shown yourself ready to learn. If you want different lessons, teach different truths. If you want different treatment, demonstrate different standards. Your unshakability begins not with controlling others, but with absolute clarity about what you will and will not allow to disturb your peace, not through force, not through fight, but through the quiet power of unwavering standards. Let us speak now of a power so profound that most will misunderstand it, so potent that few dare to cultivate it, the power of indifference. Not the cold indifference of the callous, not the false indifference of the defeated, but the studied indifference of the truly powerful. What do I mean by indifference? It is the ability to look at events, circumstances, and even other people's opinions without being moved by them. It is the capacity to maintain your center regardless of what swirls around you. It is the power to choose what affects you and what does not. Most people believe they are at the mercy of external events. They think their emotional state must follow the ups and downs of circumstance. A criticism must hurt. A failure must discourage. A loss must devastate. They have never questioned this automatic connection between external events and internal state. But I tell you this, there is no natural law that requires you to be moved by anything. Your response to events is a choice, always a choice. And the most powerful choice available to you is often the choice of indifference. Consider this. What if you could look at criticism and truly not care? Not through suppression, not through defensive posturing, but through genuine indifference. What if you could face failure without the slightest internal disturbance? What if loss held no power to shake your foundation? This is not hypothetical. This is not philosophy. This is practical power of the highest order. But let me be clear about what this indifference is not. It is not numbness. The truly indifferent person feels everything but chooses what to be moved by. It is not inaction. You can act decisively while remaining indifferent to the outcome. It is not apathy. You can care deeply about your purpose while remaining indifferent to obstacles. It is not withdrawal. You can be fully engaged with life while remaining indifferent to its chaos. The power of indifference lies in its selectivity. You choose what matters. You choose what deserves your emotional engagement. You choose what has the power to affect your internal state. Everything else, let it be what it will be. Here is how you begin cultivating this power. First, examine what currently moves you. Make a mental list of everything that disturbs your peace: criticism, rejection, failure, loss, disrespect, uncertainty. Be honest. Be thorough. Now ask yourself, must these things move me? Is there a law of nature that requires me to be disturbed by them? Or have I simply accepted without question that they should have this power over me? Second, start practicing small indifferences. When someone criticizes your work, instead of defending or deflecting, try this response: perhaps. Nothing more. Just perhaps. Watch what happens in your mind when you choose not to engage with the criticism emotionally. When plans fail, instead of immediately moving to fix or replace them, practice saying, interesting. Nothing more. Just observe the failure with genuine curiosity rather than automatic distress. Third, understand this crucial truth. Most things that disturb us are disturbing only because we've decided they should be. There is no universal law that says disrespect must anger you, that rejection must hurt you, that failure must discourage you. These are interpretations you've accepted, and what you can accept, you can also reject. Fourth, begin consciously, choosing your points of care. Where will you invest your emotional energy? What truly deserves the power to move you? What is actually worthy of disturbing your peace? Be ruthlessly selective. Most things that seem important in the moment prove meaningless with time. Most reactions that feel necessary in the instant prove wasteful in retrospect. Fifth, practice the art of the shrug, not the defensive shrug of the defeated, but the genuine shrug of the truly indifferent. When faced with disturbance, train yourself to ask, does this truly deserve the power to move me? Does this merit the energy of my reaction? Most often the answer will be no. Remember this: your attention, your emotional engagement, your internal response, these are precious resources. Why waste them on things that don't truly matter? Why surrender your peace to events that will be forgotten in a week, a month, a year? The truly powerful person is not the one who can control events, for this is impossible. The truly powerful person is the one who has mastered the art of choosing what affects them and what does not. This is not a practice for the weak. True indifference requires tremendous strength. It demands the courage to stand apart from the reactive masses. It requires the wisdom to distinguish between what truly matters and what merely seems to matter in the moment. But the rewards are beyond measure. Imagine moving through life undisturbed by the small things that shake others. Imagine maintaining your peace regardless of success or failure, praise or criticism, gain or loss. This is not just imagination. This is available to you through the practiced power of selective indifference. This is the path to becoming truly unshakable. Here is a fundamental truth about mental sovereignty. Not everything that comes your way belongs to you. Not every offense must be taken. Not every insult must be accepted. Not every burden must be carried. Yet most people live as if they must. Pick up every emotional weight thrown in their direction. Think of your mind as a great hall. Every day, various visitors arrive at your door. Thoughts, emotions, provocations, demands. Most people simply let them all in, allowing every visitor to take up residence in their mental space. Then they wonder why their mind feels crowded, chaotic, overwhelmed. Today, you learn to become selective. Today, you learn the art of not picking up what isn't yours to carry. Let's begin with offense. When someone speaks harshly to you, launches criticism, or attempts to provoke you, remember this: their words are their property, not yours. You have no obligation to pick them up, to take them in, to let them occupy space in your mind. But Marcus, you might say, surely when someone insults me, I must defend myself. Surely when someone criticizes me, I must respond. Must you? Is there a law of nature that requires you to pick up every verbal stone thrown in your direction? Is there some cosmic rule that demands you must carry the weight of others' judgments? No, this is merely habit, a habit you can change. Here's your first practice. The next time someone offers you offense, Imagine their words as physical objects being handed to you. Now imagine simply not reaching out to take them. Let them fall to the ground. They cannot occupy space in your mind if you don't pick them up. This is not passive. This is not weak. This is the exercise of true power, the power to choose what you will and will not carry. Next, let's address criticism. Most people believe they must engage with every criticism, must defend against every negative assessment, must prove wrong every unfavorable judgment. This is exhausting and unnecessary. Remember, not all criticism belongs to you. Some criticism says more about the critic than the criticized. Some judgments reflect the limitations of the judge rather than the faults of the judged. Your task is not to defend against every criticism. Your task is to develop the wisdom to know which criticisms merit your attention and which ones you can simply leave where they fall. Here's your second practice. When faced with criticism, ask yourself, is this observation useful to my growth? Does this perspective offer valuable insight? Or is this simply someone else's noise that I'm not required to carry? If the criticism contains genuine wisdom, take the wisdom but leave the emotional weight. If it offers no value, leave it entirely where it lies. Now let's address perhaps the heaviest burden people unnecessarily carry, other people's emotions. How often do you pick up responsibility for how others feel? How frequently do you take on the weight of others' happiness, others' satisfaction, others' approval? This is a particularly subtle form of self-imposed burden. It masquerades as compassion, as responsibility, as leadership, but often it's simply unnecessary weight that disturbs your peace and disrupts your clarity. Here's your third practice. Whenever you feel yourself taking on emotional responsibility for others, ask yourself, is this actually mine to carry? Can I influence this situation without taking ownership of it? Can I care about the outcome while remaining detached from the emotional weight? Learn to recognize the difference between compassion and absorption. You can care deeply about others without carrying the full weight of their emotional state. This brings us to a crucial point about boundaries. Many people think boundaries are about keeping others out, but true boundaries are about knowing what to let in, and more importantly, what to pick up and carry. You can listen to someone's problems without absorbing their anxiety. You can witness someone's anger without taking on their rage. You can observe someone's disappointment without making it your burden to fix. Here's your fourth practice. In every interaction, maintain clear awareness of what is yours and what isn't. Your thoughts, yours. Your reactions, yours. Your peace, yours. But others' judgments, not yours. Others' expectations, not yours. Others' emotional states, not yours, unless you choose to pick them up. This requires a fundamental shift in how you view responsibility. You are not responsible for everything that comes your way. You are responsible for how you handle what comes your way, and that includes the choice not to pick it up at all. Some will call this selfish. Some will call it cold. Some will mistake this practice for lack of care or compassion. Let them. Their interpretations of your boundaries are not yours to carry either. Remember, every time you pick up something that isn't yours to carry, you sacrifice some of your peace, some of your clarity, some of your power. Every unnecessary burden you shoulder diminishes your ability to carry what truly matters. Your mind is precious territory. Your peace is valuable property. Your emotional energy is a finite resource. Be selective about what you allow to occupy these spaces. Be discerning about what weights you choose to carry. This is not about building walls. This is about developing wisdom, the wisdom to know what's yours and what isn't, the wisdom to know what serves your growth and what merely disturbs your peace, the wisdom to know when to engage and when to simply let things fall where they may. Practice this wisdom daily. Guard your mental space. Carefully choose your burdens consciously, and watch how much lighter, clearer, and more powerful you become when you stop picking up what isn't yours to carry. There exists a fundamental truth that the weak will never understand. that the masses will always avoid, but that you must embrace. If you wish to become truly unshakable, pressure is not your enemy, it is your ally. Resistance is not your opponent, it is your teacher. Difficulty is not your adversary, it is your path to power. I speak not from theory, but from the crucible of imperial rule. Every day as emperor, I faced pressures that would break most men, decisions affecting thousands of lives, threats from enemies both foreign and domestic, the constant weight of an empire's destiny resting upon my choices. Through this I learned, pressure does not break the strong, it reveals them. Think deeply about this. What is your relationship with pressure? Do you avoid it, resist it, fear it, or do you understand its true nature as the very force capable of transforming you into something greater than you are? Most people pray for an easy life. They beg the gods for lighter burdens, smoother paths, gentler challenges. In doing so, they pray for their own weakness. They petition for their own stagnation. They ask for the very things that will keep them soft, vulnerable, and easily shaken. Today, this changes. Today you learn to see pressure for what it truly is, a gift of the highest order. First principle, understand that pressure is transformation in disguise. Think of how a diamond is formed through immense pressure, sustained over time. Think of how steel is forged through intense heat and repeated striking. Think of how an athlete is created through constant resistance and progressive challenge. You are no different. The pressures you face today are not obstacles to your growth. They are the very forces creating your strength. Second principle, learn to distinguish between destructive and developmental pressure. Destructive pressure exceeds your capacity without purpose, breaks without building, damages without direction, harms without hope of recovery. Developmental pressure pushes your limits progressively, breaks down to build up, challenges with clear purpose, creates space. For growth, third principle, master the art of pressure engagement. Physical pressure, progressive strength training, endurance challenges, comfort zone expansion, controlled discomfort practices. Mental pressure, complex problem-solving, time-constrained. Decisions, high-stakes choices, strategic challenges, emotional pressure, difficult conversations, public speaking, leadership responsibilities, relationship challenges. Fourth principle, develop your pressure protocols. Recognition, identify pressures, nature, understand its purpose, recognize its potential, assess its value. Response, maintain physical calm. Keep mental clarity, hold emotional center, preserve strategic focus. Utilization, channel pressure into performance, convert stress into strength. Transform challenge into capability. Use resistance for growth. Fifth principle, understand pressure's gift of clarity. Under pressure, true priorities emerge, real values surface. Genuine capabilities reveal themselves. Authentic character shows itself. This clarity is invaluable, but only if you remain clear-headed enough to perceive it. Sixth principle, master the art of pressure progression. Just as a wise trainer progressively increases weights to build strength, you must progressively increase your pressure tolerance. Start with manageable challenges, small public speaking engagements, minor leadership roles, limited responsibility, projects controlled risk-taking. Gradually increase intensity, larger audiences, greater responsibilities, higher stakes, bigger challenges. Maintain sustainable progression. Never increase pressure drastically. Always ensure recovery time. Keep challenges within growth range. Maintain long-term perspective. Seventh principle, learn to find calm within pressure. This is crucial. The goal is not to become numb to pressure, but to maintain clarity and effectiveness within it. Physical practices, controlled breathing, grounded posture, relaxed alertness, centered movement, mental practices, clear focus, strategic thinking, calm assessment, measured response, emotional practices, balanced engagement, controlled expression, maintained center, steady presence. Eighth principle, understand that pressure is a privilege. Not everyone gets the opportunity to be tested, to be challenged, to be forced to grow. Many live lives of such comfort that they never discover their true capacity, never realize their real strength, never become what they could be. When pressure finds you, recognize it for what it is, a forge for your character, a crucible for your growth, a teacher of invaluable lessons, a path to genuine power. Remember, the same pressure that breaks glass forges steel. The difference lies not in the pressure, but in the material. Your task is not to avoid pressure, but to make yourself strong enough to use it, wise enough to learn from it, centered enough to thrive within it. Let others avoid pressure. Let others pray for easier lives. Let others remain weak through the avoidance of challenge. You know better now. You understand that true strength comes not from avoiding pressure, but from engaging it wisely. That real power emerges not from escaping challenges, but from embracing them strategically. That genuine unshakability develops not through comfortable circumstances, but through progressive engagement with pressure. Practice this wisdom daily. In every challenge, in every difficulty, in every moment of pressure, remember, this is not your enemy. This is your ally. This is not your obstacle. This is your opportunity. This is not your burden. This is your privilege. For in this understanding, this profound recognition of pressure's true nature, lies the foundation of all genuine strength, all real power, all true unshakability. Welcome pressure as your teacher, and you welcome the force that will forge your greatness. Embrace resistance as your ally, and you embrace the power that will build your strength. Accept challenge as your path, and you accept the journey that will make you truly unshakable. Here is a truth that most will reject, that few will understand, but that you must embrace if you wish to become truly unshakable. You must stop wishing for an easy life. You must stop seeking comfort. You must abandon the desire for smooth paths and gentle journeys. Why? Because this wish for ease, this craving for comfort, this desire for an unchallenging existence, it is the very thing keeping you weak. It is the very mindset ensuring you remain easily shaken, easily disturbed, easily thrown off balance by life's inevitable difficulties. Think carefully about this. What happens to a body that never faces resistance? It weakens. What happens to a mind that never confronts challenge? It softens. What happens to a spirit that never encounters adversity? It becomes fragile. Yet here, you are, like so many others, secretly hoping that life will become easier, that challenges will decrease, that difficulties will fade, and in this hope, you remain unprepared for reality's inevitable tests. Let me be clear, life will never become easier. The world will never arrange itself for your comfort. Circumstances will never consistently align with your preferences. And this is not a tragedy. It is a gift. It is not a curse. It is an opportunity. But Marcus, you protest. Surely we should seek to make things better. Surely we should try to improve our circumstances. Yes, but not from a desire for ease, not from a craving for comfort. Instead, seek improvement from a desire for growth, for capability, for strength. Seek better circumstances, not to escape challenge, but to face greater ones. Here is your first lesson in transcending the desire for ease. Start seeing comfort as a warning sign. When you find yourself too comfortable, too secure, too unchallenged, recognize that you are also becoming weaker, more vulnerable, more easily shaken. This requires a complete reversal of common thinking. Most people celebrate when life becomes easier. They rejoice when challenges decrease. They feel relieved when pressure fades. You must learn to think differently. When life becomes too easy, ask yourself, what capacity am I failing to develop? What strength am I neglecting to build? What potential am I allowing to lie dormant? Here is your second lesson. Begin actively seeking out difficulty. Not randomly, not recklessly, but strategically. Look for challenges that will develop specific strengths. Seek out resistance that will build particular capabilities. This might mean taking on projects slightly beyond your current skill level, entering conversations you'd rather avoid, facing fears you'd prefer to ignore, accepting responsibilities that make you uncomfortable. pursuing goals that others consider unrealistic, but, and this is crucial, you do this not for the sake of difficulty itself, but for the growth it enables. Not for the challenge itself, but for the strength it builds. Third lesson, learn to recognize the difference between productive difficulty and destructive difficulty. Not all challenges are worth facing. Not all hardships are worth enduring. Productive difficulty stretches you without breaking you. It demands your best without depleting your essence. It challenges your limits while respecting your core. Destructive difficulty damages without developing. It depletes without purpose. It breaks without building. Know the difference. Seek the first. Avoid the second. Fourth lesson, develop your relationship with discomfort. Most people treat discomfort as an enemy to be avoided. You must learn to see it as a teacher to be consulted. When you feel uncomfortable, ask yourself, what is this discomfort teaching me? What weakness is it revealing? What growth is it demanding? What strength is it trying to build? Fifth lesson, stop seeking shortcuts. Stop looking for easier paths. Stop hoping for lighter loads. Instead, ask yourself, how can I become strong enough for this? How can I develop the capacity this demands? How can I grow into this challenge? This is crucial. The solution to difficulty is not to make things easier. It is to become stronger. Sixth lesson, reframe your relationship with resistance. When you encounter obstacles, when you face opposition, when you meet resistance, train yourself to think, good, here is my chance to grow stronger. Here is my opportunity to become more capable. Here is my path to becoming unshakable. This is not positive thinking. This is practical power. This is the mindset that turns every difficulty into development, every challenge into capability, every resistance into strength. Remember, comfort is not your friend. Ease is not your ally. The smooth path is not your path. Your path is the path of constant growth, of continuous challenge, of never-ending development. Your path is the path that others avoid, that the weak fear, that the comfortable shun. But this path, the path of embraced difficulty, of sought-after challenge, of welcomed resistance, this is the only path that leads to true strength. This is the only journey that creates genuine capability. This is the only way to become truly unshakable. Let others wish for easy. Let others pray for comfort. Let others seek the smooth path. You know better now. You understand that the wish for ease is the embrace of weakness. You recognize that the desire for comfort is the acceptance of fragility. You know that seeking the easy path is choosing to remain shakeable. Choose differently. Choose strength. Choose growth. Choose the path of difficulty, not because it's hard, but because it's transformative. Not because it's challenging, but because it's strengthening. Not because it's uncomfortable, but because it's empowering. This is your path now. The path of no easy days, no comfortable choices, no weak moments. The path that forges strength, builds power, and creates unshakability. Here is a truth that the truly powerful have always known. Every time you explain yourself, you weaken your position. Every time you justify your actions, you diminish your authority. Every time you defend your choices, you reveal your uncertainty. Yet most people cannot resist the urge to explain. They feel compelled to justify. They rush to defend. And in doing so, they surrender power they never needed to give away. Think carefully about this. Why do you explain yourself? Why do you feel the need to justify your decisions? Why do you rush to defend your choices? Is it truly necessary? Or is it merely habit, a habit born of insecurity, nurtured by uncertainty, maintained by the desire for approval? The truly powerful person understands this. Your actions should speak for themselves. Your decisions should stand on their own merit. Your choices should require no defense beyond their results. But Marcus, you protest, surely we must communicate? Surely we must help others understand our thinking? Yes, when it serves a clear purpose, when it advances your mission, when it genuinely benefits those who need to know, but not out of habit, not from insecurity, not from the need for validation or approval. Here is your first lesson in mastering the art of silence. Begin noticing how often you explain unnecessarily. Watch yourself in daily interactions. Count how many times you justify decisions that require no justification. Notice how frequently you defend choices that need no defense. This awareness will disturb you. You will discover that much of your explaining comes not from necessity, but from habit. Not from purpose, but from insecurity. Second lesson, understand the cost of excessive explanation. Every time you explain yourself, you imply that your actions require justification, suggest that your decisions need defense, signal that your choices await approval. Open your position to unnecessary debate. Reveal your own uncertainty or insecurity. This is not theoretical. This is practical power dynamics. The more you explain, the more power you surrender. The more you justify, the more authority you relinquish. Third lesson, learn to distinguish between necessary communication and unnecessary. Explanation, necessary communication, provides essential information, advances clear objectives, serves your mission. Benefits those who truly need to. No unnecessary explanation. Stems from insecurity, seeks approval, attempts to control others' perceptions, reveals emotional dependency. Fourth lesson, develop comfort with silence. When you make a decision, learn to let it stand without explanation. When you take action, allow it to speak for itself. When others question your choices, become comfortable with saying nothing at all. This is not about being mysterious for its own sake. This is about understanding that power often lies in what you do not say. Fifth lesson, master the art of the simple statement. When you must speak about your decisions or actions, learn to do so without justification or defense. Instead of, I decided to change directions because I felt the old path wasn't working and I thought we needed a new approach, and I consulted with several experts who agreed. Simply say, we're moving in a new direction, instead of, I'm not going to attend because I have other commitments and I feel my time would be better spent elsewhere, and I think. Simply say, I won't be attending. Notice the difference in power. Feel the difference in authority. Sixth lesson, understand that mystery enhances power. When you explain everything, you become predictable. When you justify everything, you become manageable. When you defend everything, you become controllable. But when you maintain appropriate silence, when you let your actions speak without constant explanation, when you remain comfortable with others' uncertainty about your choices, you maintain power. This requires strength. It demands confidence. It takes courage to stand in silence when others demand explanation, to remain steady when others seek justification, to stay quiet when others push for defense. But this strength, this confidence, this courage, these are exactly what make you unshakable. Remember, the truly powerful person is not the one who can explain everything. It is the one who understands what requires no explanation. The truly strong leader is not the one who can justify every decision. It is the one who knows which decisions need no justification. The truly unshakable individual is not the one who can defend every choice. It is the one who remains unmoved by the demand for defense. Let others explain endlessly. Let others justify constantly. Let others defend repeatedly. You know better now. You understand that true power often lies in silence. That real authority requires no constant justification. That genuine strength needs no perpetual defense. Practice this wisdom daily. Guard your words carefully. Choose your explanations consciously. And watch how much more powerful you become when you stop weakening yourself through unnecessary words. This is not about becoming cold or distant. This is about becoming clear and strong. Not about being mysterious for its own sake, but about understanding when mystery serves power better than explanation. Your actions will speak. Your results will justify. Your strength will defend. Let these be enough. Listen carefully to this. Truth, how you begin your day determines how you live your day. The first hour of your morning creates the foundation for all that follows. Master your mornings, and you master your mind. Yet most people surrender their mornings to chaos. They begin their days in reaction to alarms, to emails, to notifications, to demands. They start their journey in a state of response rather than a position of command. This is why they remain easily shaken. This is why they stay vulnerable to disturbance. This is why they never develop true mental sovereignty. Today, this changes. Today, you learn to take command of your mornings, and through them, command of your mind. First, understand this fundamental principle. Your morning routine is not about productivity. It is not about getting more done. It is about establishing mental sovereignty before the world demands your attention. Here is the morning ritual I developed during my years as emperor, a practice that kept me centered through war, through betrayal, through the endless demands of ruling an empire. Rise before the sun. This is non-negotiable. Why? Because those first moments of pre-dawn silence offer something precious. Space for your mind to awaken on its own terms, not in response to external demands. The specific hour matters less than the principle. You must claim silence before the world claims you. Physical awakening. Your body is the vessel of your mind. Begin with cold water on your face, deep breathing exercises, simple stretching movements, a brief walk, preferably outdoors. This is not about exercise. This is about awakening your physical form with intention rather than urgency. Mental clearing. Sit in silence for at least 10 minutes. Focus on your breath. Notice your thoughts without engaging them. This is not meditation for enlightenment. It is meditation for clarity and command. Daily contemplation. Ask yourself these questions. What forces might disturb my peace today? What challenges might test my strength? What opportunities might arise for growth? What virtues will I need to display? Write your answers. Be specific. Be honest. Set your intentions, not goals, intentions. The difference is crucial. Goals are about achievement. Intentions are about state of being. Declare how you will carry yourself through the day. With what strength will you meet challenges? With what clarity will you make decisions? With what dignity will you handle difficulties? Review your principles. Remember what matters. Remind yourself of your core truths. External events cannot shake internal peace. Other people's actions do not command your reactions. Circumstances present opportunities for strength. Strategic visualization. See yourself moving through the day. Maintaining calm amid chaos. Responding with wisdom to provocation. Finding opportunity in obstacle. Staying centered in crisis. This is not positive thinking. This is mental preparation, physical preparation. Now and only now, prepare your body for the day. Clean yourself with intention, not haste. Dress with purpose, not vanity. Eat for strength, not mere satisfaction. Move with dignity, not rush. A space of silence. Before engaging with the world, before checking messages, before reading news, before beginning tasks, take one final moment of complete silence. In this silence, remind yourself, you are not entering the day as a reactor to events. You are entering as a commander of your responses. Key principles for this ritual. First, protect it fiercely. The world will try to steal your morning. It will present urgencies, emergencies, demands that cannot wait. Resist. Your morning ritual is not a luxury. It is the foundation of your mental sovereignty. Second, perform it completely. No shortcuts, no partial completion. Every element serves a purpose in establishing your mental command. Third, adjust it seasonally. As demands change, as challenges evolve, modify elements of your ritual, but never abandon the core principle of claiming mental sovereignty before engaging the world. Fourth, understand its true purpose. This ritual is not about productivity, not about achievement, not about getting ahead. It is about establishing unshakable mental command before the day begins. Fifth, make it non-negotiable. There will be days when time is short, when demands are high, when circumstances are difficult. Maintain your ritual. Even if shortened, even if modified, maintain the principle of mental sovereignty. Remember, your morning is not just the beginning of your day. It is the foundation of your mental state. It is the platform from which you will face challenges, make decisions, handle difficulties. A weak morning routine creates a weak mental foundation. A rushed morning creates a reactive mindset. A chaotic morning creates a vulnerable psychological state. But a strong morning routine, one that establishes mental sovereignty, one that builds psychological strength, one that prepares for challenge, this creates an unshakable foundation for everything that follows. Master your mornings, master your mind. Master your mind, become unshakable. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those serious about mental sovereignty. Let others surrender their mornings to chaos. Let others begin their days in reaction. Let others start from a position of weakness. You know better now. You understand that true power begins in those first hours, that real strength is built in those early moments, that genuine sovereignty is established in that pre-dawn silence. Claim your mornings. Command your mind. Become unshakable. There will come times in your life when everything seems to be falling apart. When chaos erupts in every direction, when the structures you relied upon crumble, when the certainties you counted on dissolve, when the world itself seems to be burning around you. In these moments, most people panic. They rush to act. They scramble to fix. They desperately try to control the uncontrollable, and in doing so, they become part of the chaos they fear. But you must learn a different way. You must master the art of staying still while the world burns. Not through passive acceptance, not through helpless surrender, but through the powerful choice to maintain your center regardless of external chaos. Think carefully about fire. What happens when you panic in a fire? You inhale smoke. You lose direction. You make fatal mistakes. But what happens when you maintain calm? You can think clearly. You can move purposefully. You can actually help others instead of adding to the chaos. This is not metaphor. This is practical wisdom for handling any form of chaos, personal, professional, or global. Here is your first lesson in mastering stillness amid chaos. Understand that most fires don't actually require your immediate reaction. Most crises don't actually demand your instant response. Most chaos doesn't actually need your immediate intervention. What appears to be an emergency requiring immediate action is often better served by momentary stillness. What seems to demand instant response often benefits from measured observation. What feels like necessary intervention frequently resolves itself without your involvement. Second lesson, learn to distinguish between actual fires and perceived fires. Most of what people treat as emergencies are merely urgent feeling situations. Most of what seems to demand immediate attention is simply the product of others' panic. Real fires, genuine emergencies that require immediate action, are rare. Most situations that feel like fires are actually opportunities for practiced stillness. Third lesson, develop your capacity to watch chaos without absorbing it. When problems erupt around you, when situations deteriorate, when others panic, train yourself to observe without immediately engaging. This is not about becoming passive. This is about maintaining the clarity that comes only through stillness. This is about developing the power to see clearly while others are blinded by chaos. Practice this. When others rush to act, pause. When others speak in panic, remain silent. When others push for immediate decisions, take time. When others scatter in chaos, stay centered. Fourth lesson, understand that chaos has its own intelligence. Most situations, if left alone, will reveal their own solution. Most problems, if observed carefully, will show their own resolution. Most fires, if watched patiently, will indicate where they can be most effectively addressed. But you can only perceive this intelligence if you remain still enough to observe it. You can only recognize these patterns if you resist the urge to immediately intervene. Fifth lesson, Master the art of strategic stillness. This is not about becoming inactive. This is about learning when stillness serves better than action, when observation serves better than intervention, when patience serves better than immediate response. Key practices for strategic stillness. Physical stillness. Maintain steady breathing. Keep your body calm. Control unnecessary movement. Present an image of stability. Mental stillness. Observe thoughts without following them. Notice reactions without acting on them. Watch emotions without being moved by them. Maintain inner quiet amid outer noise. Strategic stillness. Assess before acting. Observe before deciding. Wait for clarity before moving. Let situations reveal their nature. Sixth lesson. Understand that your stillness becomes a point of stability for others. When you maintain your center amid chaos, you create a space of clarity that others can orient themselves around. When you stay steady while the world burns, you become a beacon that others can navigate by. This is leadership of the highest order, not through forceful action, but through centered stillness, not through reactive intervention, but through steady presence. Seventh lesson, learn to find opportunity in chaos. When you remain still while others panic, you see what they miss. When you stay centered while others scatter, you notice what they overlook. When you maintain clarity while others are clouded by fear, you recognize opportunities they cannot perceive. Remember, chaos is not your enemy. Reactivity is your enemy. Fire is not your opponent. Panic is your opponent. The burning world is not your adversary. Your own urge to immediately fix, control, or escape is your adversary. Let others rush into the flames. Let others add to the chaos. Let others become part of the problem they're trying to solve. You know better now. You understand that true power often lies in stillness, that real strength often manifests through patience, that genuine leadership often expresses itself through centered observation rather than reactive action. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to maintain their sovereignty amid chaos, their clarity amid confusion, their power amid panic. Practice this wisdom daily. In small situations, in minor emergencies, in daily chaos, train yourself to stay still. Build your capacity for centered observation. Develop your power to maintain clarity while others lose themselves in reaction. Then, when real fires come, when genuine chaos erupts, when actual emergencies arise, you will already know how to stay still. You will already know how to maintain your center. You will already know how to be the eye of stillness in the storm of panic. Let the world burn. You stay still. Let chaos reign. You remain centered. Let others panic. You maintain your sovereignty. This is how you become truly unshakable, not by controlling the flames, but by remaining unmoved by them. Here is a truth that most never grasp, that few ever master, but that you must understand if you wish to become truly unshakable. You are not your thoughts. You are not the constant stream of mental activity that flows through your consciousness. You are not the endless parade of opinions, judgments, and reactions that march through your mind. Yet most people live as complete slaves to their thoughts. They believe every notion that crosses their mind. They accept every judgment their thoughts present. They react to every mental narrative as if it were absolute truth. This is the root of their shakable nature. This is why they remain vulnerable to disturbance. This is why they never achieve true mental sovereignty. Think carefully about this. At this very moment, thoughts are moving through your mind. Opinions are forming. Judgments are arising. Reactions are occurring. But who is watching these thoughts? Who is aware of these mental movements? That watching presence that is closer to who you really are than any thought that passes through your mind. But Marcus, you protest, aren't our thoughts who we are? Isn't our thinking what makes us human? No. Your ability to think is part of your human capacity. But you are not your thoughts any more than a sky is the clouds that pass through it. You are not your mental activity any more than an ocean is the waves that move across its surface. Here is your first lesson in transcending thought slavery. Begin noticing the difference between you and your thoughts. Start watching your mental activity as if you were watching clouds pass across the sky. Observe your thoughts without immediately believing them, following them, or becoming them. This is not philosophy. This is practical power. Because once you realize you are not your thoughts, those thoughts lose their automatic power over you. Once you understand you are not your mental activity, that activity can no longer automatically shake you. Second lesson, learn to recognize different types of thoughts. Reactive thoughts, automatic responses to external triggers, habitual patterns of judgment, conditioned emotional reactions, narrative thoughts, stories you tell yourself about situations, interpretations of events, mental explanations of reality, predictive thoughts, anticipations of future problems, projections of possible scenarios, worries about potential outcomes, memory-based thoughts, past experiences, coloring present moment, historical patterns influencing current views, old wounds affecting new situations. None of these thoughts are you. None of these mental activities define you. None of these thought patterns must control you. Third lesson, develop your capacity to watch thoughts without engaging them. When a thought arises, notice it without immediately believing it. Observe it without automatically following it. Watch it without becoming absorbed in it. This is not about suppressing thoughts. This is not about stopping mental activity. This is about developing the power to choose which thoughts deserve your attention, your belief, your energy. Fourth lesson, understand that thoughts are tools, not truths. They are instruments to be used, not authorities to be obeyed. They are options to be considered, not commands to be followed. This means you can have angry thoughts without becoming angry. You can have fearful thoughts without becoming afraid. You can have judgmental thoughts without accepting those judgments. You can have reactive thoughts without acting on them. Fifth lesson, master the art of thought investigation. When an important thought arises, before believing it or acting on it, ask, is this thought true? Is this thought useful? Is this thought serving my growth? Is this thought worth the energy of believing it? Most thoughts will fail this investigation. Most mental activity, when examined, proves neither true nor useful. Sixth lesson, learn to distinguish between productive thinking and unproductive thinking. Productive thinking solves real problems, creates useful strategies, generates valuable insight, serves your growth and purpose. Unproductive thinking repeats old patterns, rehashes past events, projects fearful futures, maintains limiting beliefs. Seventh lesson, develop your relationship with silence. The space between thoughts, that silence, that gap, that mental quietness, this is where your true power resides. Practice finding these gaps. Practice resting in these spaces. Practice maintaining awareness of the silence that exists beneath all mental activity. Remember, thoughts will always arise. Mental activity will always occur. The mind will always generate content. This is its nature. But you are not this content. You are not this activity. You are not these thoughts. You are the awareness in which thoughts arise. You are the space in which mental activity occurs. You are the consciousness that can choose which thoughts to believe, which mental patterns to follow, which internal narratives to accept. This is not abstract philosophy. This is practical power. Because when you know you are not your thoughts, negative thoughts lose their grip, fearful thoughts lose their power, reactive thoughts lose their control, limiting thoughts lose their authority. Let others remain slaves to every thought that crosses their mind. Let others stay prisoners of their mental activity. Let others continue believing every narrative their mind presents. You know better now. You understand that true power lies not in controlling thoughts, but in transcending identification with them. That real strength comes not from better thinking, but from freedom, from automatic belief in thinking. That genuine sovereignty arises not from improved mental content, but from the ability to remain centered in the awareness behind all mental activity. Practice this wisdom daily. In every moment, with every thought that arises, remember, you are not this thought. You are the awareness watching it. You are not this mental activity. You are the consciousness observing it. This is how you become truly unshakable, not by controlling your thoughts, but by transcending your identification with them. In the most profound moments of human experience, in decisions that shape empires, in choices that alter destinies, in actions that echo through centuries, there exists a space, a sacred territory between what happens to you and how you respond to it. This space, this pause, this moment of sovereign choice is where your true power resides, yet most never discover this space. They live as arrows released from a bow, direct, immediate, automatic in their response to whatever strikes them. They move from trigger to reaction with such speed that they never experience the freedom that lies between. I tell you this not as philosophy, but as a man who commanded legions, who faced betrayal, who made decisions that shaped the destiny of nations. In every crucial moment, it was not the swiftness of my response that determined the outcome, but my capacity to claim that space between stimulus and action. Think carefully. When was the last time you truly paused before responding? When did you last stand sovereign in that space between event and reaction? How often do you claim this territory of choice that exists between what happens and what you do about it? For most, this space has collapsed to nothing. Something happens and they react. Someone speaks and they respond. Life presents a challenge and they move automatically, like machines programmed for immediate action. Today, this changes. Today you learn to claim that space, to expand it, to inhabit it, to make it your throne room of choice. First principle, understand that every instant reaction is a surrender of sovereignty. Every immediate response is a confession of slavery to circumstance. Every automatic reaction announces to the world, I can be predicted, I can be manipulated, I can be controlled. Is this the message you wish to send? Is this the power you wish to surrender? Second principle, begin noticing the speed of your responses. In every interaction, in every situation, become aware of how quickly you move from trigger to emotion, stimulus to response, event to action, challenge to reaction. This awareness will disturb you. You will discover how rarely you claim the space that is rightfully yours. Third principle, master the art of the conscious pause. When something happens that would normally trigger an immediate response, take one full breath. Feel your feet on the ground, notice your body's position. Observe your initial impulse. Recognize your automatic tendency. This is not about becoming slow. This is about becoming sovereign. Fourth principle, understand that the pause is not empty. It is not dead space. It is not wasted time. The pause is alive with possibility. In this space, you can examine multiple responses, consider various outcomes. Choose your position, select your timing, command your power. Fifth principle, learn to expand the pause. Start small. When someone speaks, wait 3 breaths before responding. When a decision seems urgent, take 5 minutes before choosing. When emotion rises, pause for 10 counts before acting. When pressure mounts, create space before moving. Then, gradually increase these spaces. 3 breaths become 5. 5 minutes become an hour. 10 counts become 30. Brief pauses become measured considerations. Sixth principle, master different types of pauses. The minimal pause, 1 to 3 seconds. For simple interactions, for basic responses, for physical reactions, for immediate acknowledgments, the tactical pause, minutes. For important decisions, for emotional responses, for strategic choices, for significant communications, the strategic pause, hours or days, for life-changing decisions, for major transitions, for crucial responses, for fundamental shifts. Seventh principle, develop your pause practices. Physical pause. Still your body, slow your breathing center, your posture, ground your presence. Mental pause. Quiet your thoughts. Clear your mind. create internal space. Allow clarity to emerge. Emotional pause. Feel without reacting. Experience without expressing. Observe without engaging. Hold without suppressing. Eighth principle, understand that the pause is power. When you take time to respond, you demonstrate sovereignty, you exhibit mastery, you display wisdom, you command respect. The person who can pause is the person who cannot be easily manipulated, provoked, or controlled. Ninth principle, learn to find strength in the pause. Most feel uncomfortable with space between stimulus and response. They feel compelled to fill it, anxious to end it, desperate to close it. Train yourself to rest in this space. Learn to be powerful in the gap. Develop comfort in the territory between event and action. Remember, this space between stimulus and response is your throne room. It is where you exercise your highest sovereignty. It is where you demonstrate your true power. The wider this space, the greater your freedom. The more you inhabit this pause, the stronger your sovereignty. The more comfortable you become in this gap, the more unshakable you become in your center. Let others react instantly. Let others respond automatically. Let others surrender their power through immediate action. You know better now. You understand that true power lies not in the speed of response, but in the sovereignty of choice. That real strength exists not in immediate action, but in conscious decision. That genuine authority resides not in reactive movement, but in commanded pause. Practice this wisdom daily. In every interaction, in every situation, in every moment of potential reaction, claim your pause. Expand your space. Command your gap between stimulus and response. For in this space, this pause, this gap, this territory between what happens and how you respond, lies the foundation of all true power, all real freedom, all genuine unshakability. Master the art of the pause, and you master yourself. Master yourself, and you become truly unshakable. Here is a truth that most will reject, that few will master, but that you must embrace if you wish to become truly unshakable. When they attack, let them. When they criticize, let them. When they attempt to provoke you, let them, not through weakness, not through passive acceptance, but through the profound understanding that their attacks reveal their weakness, not yours. Their criticism exposes their limitations, not your faults. Their provocations display their lack of power, not their strength. Think carefully about this. When someone attacks you, verbally, emotionally, professionally, what is their true aim? Is it not to disturb your peace, to shake your center, to force you into reaction? And when you react, when you defend, when you counterattack, are you not giving them exactly what they seek? Are you not surrendering your sovereignty to their provocation? This must change. Today, you learn the art of letting them attack while remaining unmoved. First principle, understand that most attacks are requests for reaction. When someone criticizes you, they're not merely expressing an opinion, they're seeking a response. When someone provokes you, they're not merely showing aggression, they're begging for engagement. By refusing to react, you deny them what they truly seek. By remaining unmoved, you maintain your power while revealing their weakness. Second principle, recognize that defense is often defeat. When you rush to defend yourself against criticism, you validate the attack as worthy of response. Signal that their words have power over you. Reveal your vulnerability to their opinion. Surrender your peace to their provocation. This is crucial. The person who must defend has already lost power to the person who attacked. Third principle, master the art of deliberate non-reaction. When attacked, maintain physical stillness. Keep your breathing steady. Hold your facial expressions neutral. Let your eyes remain calm. Keep your voice level and unhurried. This is not passive. This is not weak. This is the highest form of power, the power to choose non-reaction. Fourth principle, understand that your non-reaction is itself a powerful response. When you remain unmoved by attack, you demonstrate immunity to manipulation. You display mastery over your emotions. You exhibit sovereignty. Over your reactions, you show strength that needs no defense. Fifth principle, learn to see attacks as information, not injury. When someone attacks you, they reveal their own fears and insecurities, their level of emotional development, their need for external validation, their lack of true power. This information is valuable, but only if you remain calm enough to observe. Its sixth principle, develop your capacity to watch attacks without absorbing them. Imagine their words, their criticism, their provocations as clouds passing through the sky of your awareness, waves moving across the surface of your consciousness, wind blowing around the mountain of your center. Let them come. Let them pass. Remain unmoved. Seventh principle, understand that true power needs no defense. Think of a mountain. Does it defend itself against the wind? Does it react to the rain? Does it counterattack the storms? Does it justify itself to the weather? No. It simply remains. This is its power. Eighth principle, master the art of the observing presence. When under attack, watch without engaging. Listen without believing. Observe without reacting. Stay present without defending. This stance communicates more power than any defense or counterattack ever could. Ninth principle, learn to find opportunity in attack. When someone attacks you, they often reveal valuable feedback hidden within their criticism, expose weaknesses in your position that need strengthening, show you where you need to develop greater resilience, provide chances to practice non-reaction. You can only see these opportunities if you remain unmoved enough to observe them. Remember, every attack is a test of your sovereignty. Every criticism is a challenge to your center. Every provocation is a question about your true power. When you defend, you fail the test. When you react, you lose your center. When you counterattack, you forfeit your power. But when you let them attack while remaining unmoved, you pass the test of sovereignty. You demonstrate true center. You exhibit genuine power. You reveal unshakable strength. Let others defend frantically. Let others react automatically. Let others counterattack instinctively. You know better now. You understand that true power lies not in defending against attacks, but in remaining unmoved by them. That real strength exists not in counterattack, but in maintained center. That genuine authority resides not in reaction, but in sovereign, non-reaction practice. This wisdom daily, in every criticism, in every attack, in every provocation. Remember, let them. Let them exhaust themselves against the mountain of your centered presence. Let them reveal their weakness through their need to attack. Let them demonstrate their lack of power through their attempts to provoke yours. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to move from defensive reactivity to sovereign power. For in this ability, this capacity to let them attack while remaining unmoved, lies the foundation of true unshakability. Let them attack. You stay centered. Let them criticize. You remain unmoved. Let them provoke. You maintain your sovereignty. This is how you become truly unshakable, not by defending against attacks, but by transcending the need for defense entirely. Listen carefully to this truth. Your peace is your responsibility. Not your partners, not your employers, not your families, not society's, yours. The quality of your mental state, the stability of your emotional center, the sovereignty of your inner world, these are yours to guard, yours to maintain, yours to protect. Yet most people live as if their peace were in others' hands. They surrender their tranquility to external circumstances. They give away their mental sovereignty to other people's actions. They hand over their emotional stability to events beyond their control. This is why they remain easily disturbed. This is why they stay vulnerable to manipulation. This is why they never achieve true unshakability. Think carefully about this. How often do you blame others for your disturbed state? How frequently do you point to external circumstances as the cause of your inner turmoil? How regularly do you surrender responsibility for your peace to forces outside yourself? This must change. Today, you learn to take complete responsibility for your inner state. First principle, understand that no one can disturb your peace without your cooperation. When someone makes you angry, you are cooperating with their provocation. When something makes you anxious, you are participating in the creation of that anxiety. When circumstances make you upset, you are collaborating in your own disturbance. This is not about blame. This is about power. Because once you understand that your participation is required for your peace to be disturbed, you understand that your peace is always within your control. Second principle, recognize that peace is not the absence of disturbance, but the presence of sovereignty. True peace is not having no problems, experiencing no challenges, facing no opposition, encountering no difficulty. True peace is maintaining your center regardless of what you face. Third principle, take inventory of your peace-surrendering habits. How easily do you give away your tranquility? To what situations do you consistently surrender your calm? To which people do you regularly hand over your peace? Under what circumstances do you abandon your center? Be honest. Be thorough. This inventory reveals where you need to reclaim responsibility. Fourth principle, master the art of peace maintenance. Just as you maintain your physical health, you must maintain your inner peace through daily practices. Mental hygiene, regular meditation or contemplation, conscious breath awareness, mindful movement practices, strategic solitude, emotional sovereignty, feeling without being consumed, experiencing without being overwhelmed, responding without being controlled, engaging without being absorbed, environmental control, creating spaces that support peace, limiting exposure to unnecessary disturbance, managing information input, controlling digital engagement. Fifth principle, develop your peace protection protocols. Just as a nation has defense systems, your peace needs protection systems, early warning systems, physical tension indicators, mental agitation signals, emotional disturbance signs, energy depletion markers, response protocols, immediate centering, practices, rapid peace restoration techniques, quick sovereignty, reclamation methods, swift balance recovery strategies, boundary maintenance, clear limits on peace-disturbing influences, strong barriers against unnecessary negativity, firm protection against emotional invasion, solid guards against mental pollution. Sixth principle, understand that your peace is your power. When you maintain your peace, you think more clearly, you decide more wisely, you act more effectively, you influence more powerfully, but you can only maintain this power if you take full responsibility for it. Seventh principle, learn to distinguish between peace and numbness. True peace is not avoiding difficulty, suppressing emotion, ignoring problems, escaping reality. True peace is facing challenges while maintaining center, feeling fully while remaining sovereign, addressing problems while staying balanced, engaging reality while preserving clarity. Eighth principle, master the art of peace restoration. When your peace is disturbed, recognize the disturbance quickly, take immediate responsibility, implement restoration practices, return to center consciously, don't wait for circumstances to change. Don't expect others to fix it. Don't hope for easier conditions. Restore your peace through sovereign choice. Remember, every moment you spend waiting for external conditions to give you peace is a moment of surrendered sovereignty. Every instant you spend blaming others for your disturbed state is an instant of abandoned responsibility. Every second you spend hoping circumstances will restore your tranquility is a second of forsaken power. Let others surrender their peace to external conditions. Let others abandon responsibility for their inner state. Let others forsake their sovereign power over their tranquility. You know better now. You understand that true peace comes not from controlling circumstances, but from maintaining inner sovereignty. That real tranquility arises not from perfect conditions, but from perfect responsibility. That genuine unshakability emerges not from an undisturbed life, but from an undisturbable center. Practice this wisdom daily. In every situation, in every interaction, in every moment of potential disturbance, remember, your peace is your responsibility. Your tranquility is your choice. Your sovereignty is your power. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to move from victim to sovereign, from reactive to responsive, from shakeable to unshakable. For in this understanding, this complete ownership of your inner state, lies the foundation of true power, real freedom, and genuine unshakability. Take responsibility for your peace, and you take command of your life. Take command of your life, and you become truly unshakable. When the mind becomes still, everything becomes clear. When mental noise subsides, wisdom arises. When internal chaos settles, true perception emerges. This is not mysticism. This is practical power of the highest order. Yet most people live in perpetual mental motion. Their minds constantly churn with thoughts, reactions, judgments, and commentary. They maintain endless internal dialogue about everything they encounter. They never experience the clarity that comes only through mental stillness. This is why they remain confused. This is why they stay uncertain. This is why they never achieve true understanding. Think carefully about this. How often is your mind truly still? How frequently do you experience genuine mental quiet? How regularly do you access the clarity that comes only through inner silence? For most, the answer is never. Their minds are in constant motion, endless activity, perpetual noise. They have never known the power of true mental stillness. Today, this changes. Today, you learn how mental stillness becomes your greatest source of clarity, insight, and power. First principle, understand that a moving mind cannot see clearly. Just as muddy water must become still before it becomes clear, a mind in constant motion cannot perceive truth accurately. Every thought, every judgment, every internal commentary distorts your perception. This is not theory. This is practical reality. When your mind is noisy, you miss crucial details, you overlook important signals, you misread situations, you misinterpret intentions, you react to imagined threats, you create unnecessary problems. Second principle, recognize that most mental activity is unnecessary. Observe your mind for 1 hour and notice how much thinking is actually needed, how much internal commentary serves a purpose, how much mental noise produces value, how much cognitive activity creates clarity. You'll discover that most mental activity is not only unnecessary but actively harmful to clear perception. Third principle, master the art of mental stillness. This doesn't mean stopping thoughts. That's impossible. It means developing the ability to let thoughts pass without following them, observe without internal commentary, perceive without immediate judgment, experience without constant analysis. Fourth principle, understand that stillness reveals what motion conceals. When your mind becomes quiet, you begin to see patterns you missed before, connections previously hidden, opportunities formerly obscured, threats previously unnoticed, truths previously concealed, but these can only be perceived when mental noise subsides. Fifth principle, develop your stillness practices. Physical stillness, regular periods of complete immobility, conscious breath awareness, deliberate slowing of movement, intentional physical presence, mental stillness, meditation or contemplation, mindful observation, non-reactive watching, silent awareness, environmental stillness, creating quiet spaces, reducing unnecessary input, limiting digital noise, managing information flow. Sixth principle, learn to distinguish between different qualities of mental quietness, surface stillness, temporary absence of obvious thoughts, brief moments of mental quiet, shallow states of calm, middle stillness, deeper mental settling, extended periods of quiet, sustained states of clarity, deep stillness, profound mental silence, lasting states of clarity, fundamental quietness of being, Each level reveals different aspects of reality, different layers of truth, different dimensions of understanding. Seventh principle, master the art of still observation. When facing important situations, crucial decisions, or complex problems, first, become still. Stop internal commentary. Cease mental prediction. Suspend immediate judgment. Quiet unnecessary thinking. Then, observe purely. Watch without analysis. See without interpretation. Notice without commentary. Perceive without reaction. Finally, allow understanding to emerge. Let patterns reveal themselves. Allow insights to arise naturally. Permit wisdom to surface organically. Enable clarity to manifest spontaneously. Eighth principle, understand that stillness is strength. When your mind is still, your presence becomes powerful, your perception becomes acute, your understanding becomes deep, your decisions become clear, your actions become precise. This is not passive power. This is not inactive strength. This is the highest form of mental sovereignty, the power to maintain stillness while others remain in motion, to preserve clarity while others stay confused, to hold wisdom while others chase knowledge. Remember, every moment of mental noise is a moment of missed clarity. Every instant of internal chatter is an instant of lost wisdom. Every second of unnecessary thinking is a second of forfeited power. Let others maintain constant mental motion. Let others persist in perpetual internal dialogue. Let others continue in endless cognitive activity. You know better now. You understand that true power comes not from more thinking, but from deeper stillness. That real clarity emerges not from increased mental activity, but from profound mental quiet. That genuine wisdom arises not from accumulated knowledge, but from fundamental stillness. Practice this wisdom daily, in every situation, in every decision, in every moment of importance. Remember, stillness reveals what motion conceals. Quiet shows what noise hides. Silence teaches what words cannot convey. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to move from confusion to clarity, from uncertainty to understanding, from mental noise to mental sovereignty. For in this stillness, this mental quiet, this internal silence, lies the foundation of true perception, real wisdom, and genuine unshakability. Master mental stillness, and you master reality itself. Master reality, and you become truly unshakable. Here is the image of true power. A being so centered, so sovereign, so complete in themselves that nothing external can disturb their peace. Neither praise nor blame moves them. Neither success nor failure shakes them. Neither gain nor loss disturbs their center. This is not imagination. This is not fantasy. This is a practical possibility if you are willing to do the work required to achieve it. Think carefully about what moves you now. A harsh word from a stranger, a criticism from a superior, a rejection from a peer, a failure in your endeavors, a loss in your ventures, an obstacle in your path. Each movement, each disturbance, each shake to your center is not a fact of nature. It is a choice, unconscious perhaps, habitual certainly, but still a choice. Today, you learn to become the one who cannot be moved. First principle, understand that immovability is not rigidity. The truly unmovable person is not stiff, not rigid, not inflexible. They are like a mighty tree, flexible enough to bend with strong winds, strong enough to maintain their root, adaptable enough to survive storms, stable enough to remain standing. This is the immovability you seek, not the brittle strength of stone, but the resilient power of a living oak. Second principle, recognize that most movement is unnecessary. When you are moved by external events, ask yourself, must this disturb my center? Must this shake my foundation? Must this disrupt my peace? Must this affect my core? You'll discover that most disturbances are optional, accepted through habit, rather than necessity. Third principle, master the art of centered presence. This involves physical centeredness, grounded posture, controlled breathing, relaxed alertness, maintained presence, mental centeredness, clear awareness, undistracted focus, sustained attention, quiet observation, emotional centeredness, balanced response, measured reaction, controlled expression, maintained equilibrium. Fourth principle, understand the sources of movement, external triggers, others' opinions, circumstances, events, results, internal reactions, ego responses, emotional habits, mental patterns, ingrained beliefs, societal pressures, cultural expectations, social norms, collective beliefs, common fears. Recognize these sources not to avoid them, but to transcend their power to move you. Fifth principle, develop your immovability practices. In the face of praise, maintain your self-assessment. Hold your own standards, keep your own measure. Stay true to your values. In the face of criticism, preserve your center. Hold your peace, maintain your clarity, keep your sovereignty. In the face of success, stay grounded in purpose. Maintain perspective, hold steady to principles. Keep focused on growth. In the face of failure, maintain your dignity. Hold your learning, keep your direction. Stay true to your path. Sixth principle, master the art of unmoved action. This seems paradoxical, but is crucial. Move without being moved, act without being acted upon, engage without being engaged, respond without being reactive. This is the highest form of power, action from centeredness rather than reaction from disturbance. Seventh principle, understand that true immovability comes from profound self-completeness. When you are complete in yourself, others' opinions cannot move you because your self-knowledge is sufficient. External success cannot shake you because your inner worth is established. Failure cannot disturb you because your value is not in results. Loss cannot unbalance you because your center is not in possessions. Eighth principle, learn to find power in stillness. When others rush, you remain still. When others react, you remain centered. When others scatter, you remain grounded. This stillness is not inaction. This centeredness is not passivity. This groundedness is not withdrawal. Instead, these are the foundations of true power. The power to choose response over reaction, the power to maintain peace amid chaos, the power to hold center in any storm, the power to remain sovereign in all circumstances. Remember, every time you are moved by external events, you surrender some of your sovereignty. Every time you are shaken by others' actions, you give away some of your power. Every time you are disturbed by circumstances, you abandon some of your center. Let others be moved by every wind. Let others be shaken by every storm. Let others be disturbed by every circumstance. You know better now. You understand that true power lies not in the ability to move others, but in the capacity to remain unmoved yourself. That real strength exists not in external influence, but in internal sovereignty. That genuine authority resides not in affecting others, but in maintaining your own center. Practice this wisdom daily. In every interaction, in every situation, in every moment of potential disturbance, remember, you can choose to remain unmoved. You can choose to maintain center. You can choose to preserve sovereignty. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to move from reactivity to sovereignty, from disturbance to peace, from shakeable to unshakable. For in this capacity, this ability to remain unmoved while taking needed action, to stay centered, while engaging fully, to maintain sovereignty while participating completely, lies the foundation of true power, real freedom, and genuine unshakability. Become the one who cannot be moved, and you become truly unshakable. Here we arrive at the final and perhaps most profound truth of unshakability. You must die daily to the need for control. You must release again and again your grip on what cannot be governed. You must surrender, moment by moment, your illusion of command over the uncontrollable. This seems paradoxical, doesn't it? Throughout these teachings, we have spoken of power, of sovereignty, of command over your responses. Yet now we speak of surrender, of release, of letting go. But this is no contradiction. This is the highest wisdom. True power comes not from controlling everything, but from releasing the need to control anything except your own responses. Think carefully about what you try to control now. Other people's actions, future outcomes, past events, external circumstances, natural processes, inevitable changes, each attempt at control, each grip on the uncontrollable, each refusal to release what cannot be commanded. These are not sources of power. They are sources of suffering, of disturbance, of shakable nature. Today, you learn to die to the need for control. First principle, understand that most of what you try to control is uncontrollable. You cannot control others' thoughts, command others' feelings, direct others' actions, determine others' responses, dictate external events, decide natural processes, yet how much energy do you waste attempting to control these uncontrollables? Second principle, recognize that the need for control is fear in disguise. When you examine your desire to control, you'll find it rooted in fear of uncertainty, fear of inadequacy, fear of loss, fear of chaos, fear of powerlessness, fear of change. This recognition is crucial. Your need for control is not a source of power, it is a confession of fear. Third principle, master the art of strategic surrender. This involves identifying what you cannot control, others' choices, natural processes, time's flow, life's uncertainties, reality's nature, changes, inevitability. Releasing your grip on these uncontrollables, not through passive resignation, not through helpless surrender, not through weak acceptance, but through powerful choice. Redirecting your energy to what you can control, your responses, your choices, your focus, your actions, your development. Your center fourth principle, understand. That control is an illusion. Even in areas where you think you have control, how much is really under your command? How much is actually within your power? How much is truly in your governance? How much is genuinely in your authority? The more deeply you examine this, the more you realize control is largely illusory. Fifth principle, develop your practices of release. Physical release, tension in your body, grip in your muscles, force in your movements, strain in your posture. Mental release, need to know everything, desire to predict all outcomes, urge to understand all reasons, drive to figure out all answers. Emotional release, attachment to specific outcomes. Investment in particular responses, dependency on certain results, need for specific validation. Sixth principle, master the art of powerful surrender. This is not giving up, checking out, falling back, breaking down. This is releasing with strength, surrendering with power, letting go with purpose, accepting with wisdom. Seventh principle, understand that true power often lies in release. When you release the need to control, your mind becomes clearer, your actions become more effective, your presence becomes more powerful, your influence becomes more profound. This is the paradox. By releasing the need to control, you often gain more genuine influence than all your attempts at control ever achieved. Eighth principle, learn to find freedom in surrender. When you truly release the need to control, uncertainty becomes adventure rather than threat. Change becomes opportunity rather than danger. Mystery becomes wonder rather than problem. Chaos becomes potential rather than danger. Remember, every attempt to control the uncontrollable is an act of self-imprisonment. Every effort to command the uncommandable is a self-imposed limitation. Every refusal to release what cannot be held is a self-created disturbance. Let others exhaust themselves trying to control everything. Let others deplete themselves attempting to command the uncommandable. Let others disturb themselves refusing to release the uncontrollable. You know better now. You understand that true power lies not in controlling everything, but in releasing the need for control. That real strength exists not in commanding everything, but in surrendering to what cannot be commanded. That genuine sovereignty resides not in governing everything, but in releasing what cannot be governed. Practice this wisdom daily. In every situation, in every circumstance, in every moment of attempted control, remember, you can choose to release. You can choose to surrender. You can choose to let go. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is practical, tactical wisdom for those who wish to move from the prison of control to the freedom of release, from the disturbance of resistance to the peace of acceptance, from the shakable nature of attempted command to the unshakability of wise surrender. For in this death, this daily dying to the need for control, lies the foundation of true power, real freedom, and genuine unshakability. Die daily to the need for control, and you become truly unshakable.